A chassid once came to Rebbe Menachem Mendel of Kotsk and unloaded on the Rebbe an incredible mountain of tsaros, dilemmas and problems, each one with no resolution, incredible suffering. And the Rebbe heard each problem, each dilemma, each unsolvable riddle, each just colossal calamity, one after the other. And the Rebbe told the chassid, daven. You want my advice? Daven. And the chassid said, daven? Rebbe, I can't daven. And the Rebbe said, why can't you daven? And the chassid said, because I don't know how. I don't know how. And the Rebbe said, this is your problem. The Kotzker said, your problem, you think, is this mountain of tsaros. In reality, your problem is you can't daven. You don't know how. If you would know how to daven, then you'd find you have far fewer problems. And first daven for this problem. Learn how to daven. For all of us, it's the same thing. Learning how to daven. How do I daven? What is davening? To daven is to make handles for your tsaros. To be able to hold your tsaros, look at tsaros, understand tsaros. A lot of what davening is just getting a handle to understand that HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent us this, whatever this is, for our own good, according to some kind of tikkun, some kind of calculus we can't possibly imagine. And the handles are made out of bitachon. But it's very misleading because we go to all these classes and we hear rabbis speak and talk about bitachon, books and books, all the ink spilled, but we get the sense that bitachon is fundamentally a noun, this thing you get. You leave the class and you go pick up some bitachon, like it's tissues at Costco. When in reality, bitachon is a verb. It's a process. It's a thing you do. It's an activity. It's a lifestyle. And what do I mean? The Midrash Shmos Rabbah Perek Tes brings a pasuk, Hashem Mitzion Yishag, and it describes all of the woes and the tribulations of times to come, incredible judgments upon the 9 Jews of the world, judgments upon Am Yisrael, punishments, fire and brimstone. And Rabbi Akiva asks, and what do the Jews do? Ma'osin. What does Am Yisrael do? And he answers, Hashem is a malgain. Hashem is a shield. It's a very curious thing because the question was about a verb. What do the Jews do? Ma'osin. And the answer is a noun. Hashem is a shield. And this is the answer, fundamentally. That we often think of what do we do? And that doing question is always so complicated because it's like, we're forced to have faith and trust. And we often get in our own way. It's a pasuk. B'ituchu, there's a pasuk in Yeshaya Kavav, B'ituchu v'Hashem adei ad, ki v'kal Hashem tzur olamim. B'ituchu v'Hashem, the first word. How do I have bitachon? B'ituchu, it's a verb. But often we get in our own way. It's like we have an internal Knesset. And we have all these delegates, all these, political parties in our own internal Knesset. There's me, myself, and I, and we fight and we argue and we have this incredible balagan on the floor of our Knesset, fighting over policy, what do we do? And it's important, But fundamentally, what happens in the end, what happens to us, and what ultimately happens when all is said and done, belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And so often we get involved with these very intense internal wranglings, and we get in our own way. B'ituchu v'Hashem. Have bitachon. It's a noun. It's a verb, rather. We do bitachon. Right? Why? Because ultimately Hashem is tzur olamim. Hashem's a rock. Hashem decides. We have mitzvos to do for sure, and do mitzvos, but in the end, what happens, despite our best efforts, or worst efforts, is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. Period. End of story. This very concept is found in the Noam Elimelech. Rabbi Elimelech of Lezhansk wants to define bitachon. And like so many shiurim and rabbis and books, all these complicated equations for bitachon, all these caveats, the Rabbi Elimelech of Lezhansk has a very clear, concise definition in one line. The Noam Elimelech in Parshas Lech Lecha, he explains, he asks, you want to know what is bitachon? Bitachon is Masha Adam Mistakel Beruvamus Kel Zed Nikra Bitachon. The more a person looks for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's a verb, it's looking. The more a person looks for Hashem, for godliness in everything, the more he or she has bitachon. It's a verb, fundamentally. And this experience, this verb posture of bitachon is how we approach everything. And that when you understand that it's a way to look at the world, and it's active, and it's how we see the world right now, and it's not about getting in our own way or about looking for this kind of fix, this like thing called bitachon, the happier we'll be, and the more easy we'll have it to make handles for our suffering. Like the great Polish Rebbe's, could be the Riminover, the Rapshitzer, once said, why have daigas? Why have problems? If it's out of your hands, then have bitachon. Work on it. Trust that HaKadosh Baruch Hu runs the show, and it's all for you, for the best, ultimately. And if it is in your hands, then just do what you got to do. Take care of business. But don't worry. Worrying, mimanav shach, we say in Gemara Lashon. Why would you worry? Either understand that Hashem runs the world, if it's out of your hands, and if you can do something about it, act, and don't worry. But worrying is counterproductive. It's like the internal Knesset. And this sense of activeness and kind of jumping in, having this active bitachon, is our avoda. It's even a mantra. We have other religions, we the Havdil, mantras, various things. The Yerushalmi has a mantra first. The Gemara Yerushalmi in Brachos, in the 5th parak, at the very beginning, has a few psukim which various Amoraim were wont to use as a mantra. Hashem tzivakos imanu miskav lanu elokei Yaakov sela. Hashem tzivakos ashrei adam boteach bach. Hashem tzivakos ashrei adam boteach bach. Reb Pinchas Koritzer would have this on his mouth all the time. He'd mutter it to himself as a mantra. He would chant it to himself. So much so that his Talmidim found him saying it in his sleep. While he was fast asleep, his mouth was so trained to say this verse, he'd be muttering it, saying it, whispering it, while fast asleep. And this is our mantra. We go with bitachon. It's a verb, not a noun. It's a process, and fundamentally it's handles for our tzaras. And in the end, there's nothing to worry about. Either Hashem runs the show, right, or we have the chance to join Hashem and do something about what we can about. The mitzvah, so to speak, the active participation, if possible. In the end, Hashem decides. And this is Sivan. The month of Sivan, these opening days of Sivan, are a preparation for Har Sinai. And that what Am Yisrael did, that very first Sivan of freedom, when they approached Har Sinai, was embossed. There's like a thumbprint of that experience on Jewish history forever. And that experience is preparation for Har Sinai. And Hashem didn't just kind of hit us over the head with Matan Torah. Hashem required us to prepare ourselves and get ready for Har Sinai, to purify ourselves, and to generate within ourselves vessels which could be containers for Torah. And therefore, it behooves us every Sivan to get with the times, to join with the flow of energy which comes with Sivan, the preparation for Har Sinai, Shavuos, all which Kabbalah Torah is. To understand that what Hashem wants is what happens in the end. Whether it's Kabbalah Torah, Yetzias Mitzrayim, whatever it is, and to not get in our own way. That many times when we're in the middle of our own Yetzias Mitzrayim, we become Dasan and Avira. We become this like internal wrangling, and we become counterproductive. And the goal, of course, in the end, is to make handles for our tzaras, to see better, to be mistakel. And the more we do this, the more we actively look to understand all which happens around us, good and bad, the more we have bitachon. And that's really it. A good Nechaydash, we should be zocha to a Kabbalah Torah on Shavuos, and to better understand our world, and to see that ultimately all which befalls us, fundamentally, ultimately, is for our own good. And we should have bitachon that we should be able to see it. B'poel. A good Nechaydash.